Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another session of backtesting where I'm going to be backtesting another half month's worth of data. This is episode number 19 of our backtesting streams where we are going from 2022 all the way up until 2026 in one single stretch. If you guys are interested in checking out the rest of these videos, this entire process is going to be recorded and posted on my YouTube. With that being said, now, if you guys are interested in this type of content, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And let's drop straight into it. Use code replay15 for 15% off of your FX Replay subscription on a monthly basis as well. Okay, cool. Now that we're done with that shit. Looking here, this is the last one we did was October. Came out with 8R. That's over the course of these trades here. This is your win rate. Some of the things that is really helping is just the overnight expansions, previous day expansions, and then just my main focus is finding where the consolidation days are and avoiding them, and that's like just not getting chopped up in bad price action, so to say. Right, we can take notice of just dropping in now on the daily time frame. Let's get a fresh layout in. We are trading right now extremely bullish here on YM. YM does run into a very relevant level, failing to manipulate this level and now giving us a sweeping of this accumulation high. There is reasoning to go external to internal right now. YM is not correlated with NQ. NQ is long-term draw is going up to that level there. We do make a retracement off of the previous day into this internal range. Previous day was Halloween, so this is your internal range here. Reversal does take place within this candle. 1800 is not really formed from anything of true significance, but I still don't think that we're bearish. Yeah, I still don't think that we're bearish. I still think that we are pretty bullish, at least minimal up to these highs. But yeah, I'm pretty bullish up to this next draw on liquidity, as that is range low back up to range high. This is your low, and then now we're pressing upwards. We do see us going straight up. We are going to an obvious draw, so that is my draw. I do want to see, because expansion has already occurred prior to the driver, I would like to see the driver actually make an opposing run first, and then after us making this opposing run located like this, we do sweep out a very relevant level, looking for a 15-minute swing formation. Okay, so we are expanding through these lows here. We may be considered bearish, as there is an SMT that's located like this now, and the asset setting that SMT is reversing price. So now I am going to be considering myself pretty bearish here. And in order to jump, or just fucking rip, holy fuck, dude. There's just no entry here, right? So I'm going to wait to see if I can get a 15-minute pullback. Here would be your 15-minute pullback. We got some equal lows located below me. And now we can take notice that we are pressing us up into the range here. Pressing us up into the range here. Tapping us into this gap that's located like that. Not a V. Well, the draw just got tapped into, so now we'd want to see what type of reaction is going to give me outside of this draw. So let's see. Honestly, I would just walk. Draw on liquidity has been tapped. Yeah, with that being said, I just didn't have the confidence to go and trade away from that high, and then we expanded, and then we just didn't stop expanding. We just kept expanding. Right, so away from that, there was literally no entry. So that would be going on to the next day in itself. Taking a look here on the daily time frame. Again, just a very broad push here. Looking with this SMT, that's off of a Tuesday. Accumulation, manipulation, expansion, down lower. Looking to trade the continuation down to at least minimal these lows now. I don't think that we're bullish anymore. I'm not going to front there. I think that the draw on liquidity is going to be considered previous day's low, as that previous day did expand quite aggressively. And from that expansion, looking like I have a London reversal. And with that London reversal getting put into play, we do have these equal lows that's located below us. And that's trading from that internal to external. And now from that internal to external, going from that gap, we are trading down lower. We do take notice of all of these highs is getting put into play. YM does leave an SMT at these highs that's located like this, and YM is also going and reversing as the SMT that is located like that, and YM is pressing us down to the downside from that internal external. YM is also correlated now, so there is reasonings for us to go lower. I just do not have a swing that I can say I trust. I mean, I guess you could say that this is a swing that you trust, right? Fuck that, bro. That's a trip, dude. Yeah, not something, not RB. I gotta wait for 3 minutes anyway. So your first 3 minutes does go and play out already. The draws get tapped into. So it's not just waiting to see what kind of reaction we get off of this low. Do we get a reversal? Do we get a continuation signature? We're obviously showing continuation signature, but I still need a 15-minute swing in order to trade. So now we can see that YM is making a run higher. I still need a 15-minute swing in order to take any trades here. So still no 15-minute swings. Here is your first 15-minute swing that's ever showed its face in this entire day. And there would be your first 15-minute swing there. And my job would be to trade it down to the lowest point of the day. In continuation, down lower, we could take notice that YM is also sweeping, and so is ES going down to the downside. And now we can see the accumulation manipulation out of this high with the 15-minute swing setting that. And if I get a 3-minute CISD here, we can go and trade down lower. This would be your 3-minute CISD. This can be considered your entry, and your stops can go there. I mean, honestly, it's just as one of those break-even type trades where it's like guaranteed to go to break-even, but you have to be at break-even. Why? Because there's no more reason for it to go lower. So it's like you're just trying to take it to see if you get that expansion lower as like a scalper type play. You know what I mean? And see if it can get there. Because sometimes it goes. You know what I mean? Sometimes it does go. And that's just basically trading this 15-minute C2 into the 15-minute C3, 3-minute CISD. Once you get this 3-minute CISD entry, and you go stops to break even as soon as you tap into this low, and then you just hold it for 2R, as sometimes it does go through the lows, and then you can just go and take that in alignment with the overall order flow. We can see that we was failing to manipulate this low, which equals lower prices. Lower prices where? I have no fucking idea, but you're catching the open high, low close of that daily candle, as the daily candle does open high into relevant levels. And then we do have that 4-hour internal, and this is your London reversal, New York continuation profile, which we are going to go and continue lower too. So that'd be basically it. Next day's open. So taking a look here on the daily time frame, what can I take notice of? Price has been extremely expansive. So the low that we was aiming for was this low. It just wasn't on the map. But we did have a draw on liquidity that was going to be considered available for us, and that's trading the daily C2 into the daily C3 expansion. We do have it being daily C4. There is a draw on liquidity that's located to the low of us, and all assets is expanding down lower as we speak. With all the assets expanding lower, I want to take notice that we are impacting some relevant levels here, which can give us different phases of price after massive expansion days as well. That can result in a different phase in price. We can take notice that we had like that Asia accumulation, London manipulation, and expansion. Now we can see that London and 6 a.m. does have that expansion already. In order to get on side with these trades, we can also take notice that we are failing to manipulate this low, which means lower prices, daily profile, open, high, low, close, internal to external universal model. Now, in order to get on side with this, I would like to see the gaps that's formed here hold price down to the downside. I would need to see, because expansion has occurred prior to the driver, I would need to see an opposing run first in order to get on side with any trade here, because of the fact that I don't trade at the lowest point of the day. So I'd have to wait to see if I get a 15-minute model here. Okay, so no 15-minute models. No 15-minute models. Here would be your first 15-minute model that's pointing me in the downwards direction. Also a 15-minute CISD as well. So once you get that 15-minute model, 15-minute CISD, 3-minute CISD pushing me in the downwards direction, I can go and enter. I'm going to enter off of a retap of the 15-minute CISD just to get me up to 2R like this and see if we get it, just because the stop loss looks a little bit large for just more, I guess you could say, right? We get tapped in. Not the best signatures in price. I'm not going to lie to you. Out of respect for the chart, I'll go break even. And then that would be a 2R. Honestly, I don't think it would have hit 2R because that's the closure. That's the closure of the day. So that's, well, that's unfortunate there. Honestly, I don't even think I would have fucking traded this. Just because that what the 11:15 closure was here, and I went for a limit fill that was all the way up here. So realistically speaking, like real market, I wouldn't have entered because the entry was at 12:15 and I'm not setting a limit till 12:15. But basically the whole standard, I guess so to say, is the exact same, right? So it's that 15-minute C2 forming this high point outside of that gap, confirming the gap as we are heading down lower to further draws on liquidity, which is going to be this low. The failure to manipulate this low equals the draw to the next low over, right? And that's what we want to see, and that's what we was trading, just to this next low, or not trading to that low, but trading to the current low day because of higher time frame order flow and higher time frame market structure, utilizing the gap as your ability to get held down, right? So with that being said, that's basically that trade there, and let's go on to the next day. So taking a look here on the daily time frame, we can take notice that there's actually a big reversal happening off of the top into this relevant level, going from external to internal now. The internal range is impacted already as YM is more bullish than NQ, going from this external to internal, reacting off of this level and actually being extremely bullish here. With this being said, we have multiple days of expansion. This is a Friday. Friday does have a very nice New York reversal that is showing me that there is a possibility for us to go up higher. SMT at this level, YM is failing to manipulate this high, meaning that NQ can go and meet up with that exact same high as the lagging asset. So with this being said, we can see that 6 a.m. does expand higher. Looks like a news event as well. This is NFP. This is NFP. So 8:30 manipulation, expansion up higher. This opens up gaps that we can use to go and trade up higher. Because expansion has already occurred, I want to see price make a opposing run into this gap. Once this gap does get tapped into, I want to see a 3-minute CISD to confirm this gap is getting held. It's really fucking aggressive down to the downside. However, is the asset setting the manipulation, reversing price? That's what I want to take notice of. I wouldn't even consider the asset. I mean, honestly, the asset is setting the manipulation, is reversing price. So there is reasoning now for us to go and target towards data's low, which that can be considered my draw on liquidity, unless we do rip back upwards, which we are. So we do have this 15-minute C2. Ideally, if I can get a 10 a.m. open, low, high close here, I'll trade this up higher. Because now that 10 a.m. open, low, high close is confirming that this 15-minute C2 is considered valid. And now we are trading away from this CISD as a continuation entry. I just wasn't sure if this continuation entry was going to be considered valid to me. Why? Because this very sharp run down to the downside. But now it is confirmed, and I can trade this up to 2R here. Let's pull in the thing a little bit more so I can get 2R to that high, placing this order. This is why I fucking hate limit fills. Holy shit. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Fuck me, dude. This is why I fucking hate limit fills. I could have been at break even, but no, I had to leave that shit open. You're fucking tripping, dude. Holy. $15-minute swing, continuation to those lows. Looks like we was wrong on the draw on liquidity, right? And it's actually going to be considered data low. Or not, right? Or not. Well, we got that one fucking wrong. I read this as like half of this wick is holding. So there was more reasons to go up to these equal highs than there was to go downwards. Ain't gonna lie about that. Fuck. Well, we got stopped out there, which is cool, I guess. Um, taking a look here, daily time frame. Taking a look here, daily time frame, daily C2. Obviously, we want to trade up to these highs as this is internal range going from external to internal. Daily profile is showing a Asia lower day and pressing us upwards to these triple, quadruple equal highs that's located above us. We do have a 2 a.m. C2. Looking for 6 a.m. C3. 6 a.m. profile opening low here does not tap into this gap. There is reasonings for us to go lower if we do want to go lower to tap us into this gap. Now we want to see this gap hold price up to the upside with this accumulation manipulating out this gap low. Got some equal highs located above us, and we would like to see a 3-minute CISD up to the upside. Seeing if I can form a 15-minute swing formation here to confirm this gap is getting held. And if we can get this 15-minute swing here, that goes and confirms that V-shape reversal CISD 10 a.m. creating the true invalidation already. I'm going to go and enter just like this. Tap there, stops the break even as soon as we cross those equal highs. Yo, what are you doing? You got places to be and it's up, not fucking down. Yo, what the fuck? I'm out. Once I get this CI... What? Yo, what the fuck is going on here? Why is it doing that? That's impossible. That is actually impossible. That is not okay. Yeah, I'm out. I'm out here for a half-hour loss. I don't like this anymore. That's just a CISD to the downside. That's like fucking... The whole day is chopped. I'd rather take a half-hour loss right there and just call it a day because that's just fucked. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, it does go upwards, but fuck that, dude. There's no reason for it to do all of that extra shit to me. To me, anyway, there's no reason for it to do all of that extra shit. You're getting stopped out 99% of the time. Does it get there? Obviously, could have just been a break-even trade, but there was no fucking reason for us to fade 30 equal highs. You know what I mean? It's not. Personally, with the V shape like this, and it just accumulates. That's just, I don't know, bro. Not really down for that. I'd rather just take the half-hour loss and then call it a day there. Whatever happens, happens. Doesn't belong to me anymore. I recognize that as a consolidation anymore. I just recognize that as a consolidation. Pressing upwards, trading into this high, really failing to manipulate, hits the accumulation. Asia accumulation, London reversal, presses us upwards. Clear draw on liquidity here on YM. YM is a lot stronger than all these other assets. 2 a.m. C2 internal external type models. We are pressing us upwards right now. I do have a 1 hour swing formation. I'm just at the highest point of the day shooting for those external targets. No gaps that I can say that I would like to see hold price up to the upside. So let's see if we get that open low profile. Here's the 6 a.m. low now getting hit, and we are within these gaps in order for us to trade up higher. This is my low day. So in order for me to trade up higher now, we can take notice that the SMT is like this. YM is a lot stronger than NQ is. So ideally you want to see NQ reverse price in order for this SMT to be considered valid. Now we can see that SMT it's really ripping on YM, but it's not ripping on NQ. So if NQ is not going to reverse price here, then YM should not be fucking going up higher, and it could be considered a fake CISD. So now we can take notice that YM is ripping up higher here. NQ is having its first CISD that's located there. YM is failing to manipulate all of these highs that's located to the left of us, and is showing me that it is a lot more bullish than NQ is. I'm going to look for like a 10 a.m. open low type profile, and then we can get in on the continuation OB as the 10 a.m. opens low, continuation OB, and then that should be able to trade us up higher here, as we do have that clear draw on liquidity that's above. Stops can go to break even here, and then there's your 2R. Right. Cool. I just had to wait for NQ to show me that it's gonna reverse. Because if NQ kept falling, then YM's gonna fucking fall too. You know what I mean? And whatever this low is, it's not gonna be considered valid, and we'll just do a CISD and then fucking trace back downwards, because the true leading is gonna be down here, right? But with that being said, all I traded here was just that 10 a.m. open, low, high, CISD, entry. Sorry, hold on. And then that was your wick of the 10 a.m. candle for the 10 a.m. continuation, which is this 15-minute continuation, which is also a 30-minute C3, 30-minute C2, 30-minute C3 up to the upside in anticipation for us to go and continue higher. NQ's phases and price was not supporting me to trade the lagging asset higher, so I traded the stronger asset higher, right? As in we would have gotten at 1015, which is up here. It's just wasn't supporting the V shape, and the phases and price and the displacement wasn't really matching for me to go and jump in on that lagging asset. That's why I traded YM as that leading asset, right? Plus two, there was an obvious draw on liquidity, so the obvious draw on liquidity was there. Cool. Moving on to the next. So taking a look here on the daily time frame, as we can tell, YM does reach upwards and taps us into an obvious draw on liquidity, which is its relevant level. With the relevant level getting impacted, we can take notice that price is right now trading internally and maybe going down to an external draw, which is going to be all of this low resistance here. This is your expansion, retracement, expansion. Not really a daily C2, but the reasoning why we was getting pulled bullish is probably because YM wanted to go bullish. As now YM has finished this job and actually showing a lot of bearish pressure here, we can take notice that there is reasonings for us to go back going trading from external to internal, right? So that draw on liquidity for YM could be considered that low. We do have a 2 a.m. C2, and there is a 6 a.m. possibility for a 6 a.m. C3 shooting down to this low that's located down there. If we fail to manipulate off of this 2 a.m.'s low, which is a very relevant level, and we are actually going to show continuation signatures, then we can go down lower to this next draw on liquidity, as these highs are not going to be touched for the day. We are expanding there already. We are pretty much on our way there. We get hit with this expansion into accumulation, and now we are failing to manipulate that accumulation lows, telling me that we can go lower. So here I would just wait for a 15-minute swing formation in order for me to get on side with this. So this would be like your 15-minute swing formation off of this 15-minute high. That's your sweeping of that. If I get this CISD here, I'll jump in purely on this trade. This would be considered your CISD. There's 3 more minutes until 10 a.m. I'm going to wait for the 10 a.m.'s open to see what 10 a.m. wants to do, just because that 15-minute high is now like, see how we went and manipulated out the relevant level, which is your lowest point here, and then now we get that push back up higher. It's because it's right around the 10 a.m.'s opening price. So this is where I would much rather just wait for that 10 a.m. open, high, low, close. And it's besides, this 15-minute swing is not really out of a very relevant level, I would say, and not really convincing that we can go lower. Here's a new 15-minute swing off of some relevancy here. Assets is pretty synchronized right now, and this is also telling me 10 a.m. open, high, low, close. It is 3 minutes before 10:30, so I would just wait for 10:30. This would be your 10:30's closure, also that 15-minute closure. I can enter right here, as all assets is pressing us down in the downwards direction, and now I can trade this down lower. Stops has to be at break even because we do tap us into this level. So we'll go stops at break even and see if we get it. No. So we get stopped out at break even here, and that's basically that trade. Like, there's nothing away from that. Right? I mean, you could trade this 15-minute C2, but now it's 10:35, and I'm good on that. Yeah, I'm good on it. Okay, so let's see what it does here. Does it actually expand? So it does expand at that 11:30 closure after those levels are impacted and shit. But 11:45 does have that 15-minute C2, and then the press downwards at 11:45, and it does hit that continuation, right? So here's your accumulation, your manipulation. What is this? CPI, probably. Only CPI moves like this. And then we do expand us up higher. Obvious draws on liquidity. The next high is over. I don't anticipate this 830 to be considered a manipulation, and I don't want to go back down to that as low. Honestly, I would honestly see this go and continue up higher, and I would like to see an opposing run first into this gap, and then see this gap hold price up to the upside. So this is where I would like to trade up higher where to the next draws on liquidity, which is going to be considered above us. I do want to take notice that here on YM there is, actually there is further prices. There is a bunch of further draw on YM, as we are extremely bullish here. Within this extremely bullish day, CPI does go and push us up quite aggressively. I'm looking for us to go and actually continue up higher, and I would like to see this gap hold price up to the upside. I'm going to trade. We could trade NQ. I don't like trading at the highest point of the day, though. I'd much rather see this draw get impacted and then see how we react off of it, and just trade the next 15-minute swing here. There was a 15-minute swing there, but I highly doubt there's a 3-minute CISD there. And this is going to give me a 15-minute swing formation. YM is accumulating right now. NQ is having that better framework to go and take another long here, where we can take this long up to the next draws on liquidity for CPI to continue distributing higher. Okay, closure above here. I'll actually reduce my risk to this low just because I don't know where we're going currently. I'll go stops to break even, actually. Fuck, I'm out. If it stops me, it stops me. If not, then not, right? Fucking, yeah, I'm out there. Yeah, the best trade here, possibly this one, would have got stopped at a break even too. So realistically, there's just nothing there. Not gonna lie. Other than that one entry I did take, which is barely even fucking not really that good either. But still, it's something. It's something. We're cool with it. Let us continue now. So taking a look here, daily time frame, CPI really does go and push us up higher, with CPI reaching us up to that draw on liquidity, which is an external level. We can trade external, internal right now, rebalance this leg that CPI went and put out. Asia does open high. We are setting that high with a London reversal and expanding lower. That's a 2 a.m. reversal, expanding lower. We are impacting the current low of day. If this current low of day does not reverse price, there is options to trade down lower. NQ is breaking that, going from external to internal, open high, low close type profile, with a very clear intention to go down lower right now. If there is a failure to manipulate here, then there is a possibility for us to continue lower. We don't really have any gaps formed that I can say I would like to see price respect in order for us to continue, other than these 15-minute gaps, which is like something that I would like to see. If how are we going to be able to tell that this 15 is going to be respected? Okay, so we actually can notice that YM is flipping a lot weaker right now than NQ is. We'd want to see these 15-minute gaps hold price to the downside if we're actually going to be bearish. So right here's your 15-minute C2. I'm going to go and zoom in on YM now, because this is an AMD that's formed up with a nice V-shaped reversal as well. So here you can trade YM as that weaker asset, which is showing a lot more weakness than NQ is, as NQ is making its way up higher. NQ is really making a deeper tracement, so I'm uninterested in NQ at the current standpoint. YM is really failing to manipulate this low, gets hit with an accumulation, manipulation, and looking for the distribution to those next level draws to trade external to internal here. And then I would just shoot for that 2R that's located like this, and you're trading that 15-minute C3 or C2, and then trading that 15-minute C3 downwards. Right, stops goes to break even as we do cross the lowest point of the day. And then we're just seeing if we get it. And then we get stopped out of break even again. Fuck, dude. This is fucking break even central. Holy shit. This is crazy. Uh fuck, dude. Alright, so now just looking at the day in general, I'm not trading this shit. So skip. Right. You can literally see it before the day starts. This is gonna be an accumulation day. I don't even need to fucking try to look at it. You know what I mean? Skip. Fuck that. Why can you tell it's an accumulation day? The tight range of that current day is just within like a super fucking accumulated. There's no like point of interest. There's really just it's accumulating here on the lower time frame, which is just super ass, honestly. Maybe you can get yourself a 15-minute swing. Accumulation, manipulation, 15-minute swing. But after this deep retracement, that's unideal, bro. Unideal. And that's at 11:15. You're trading an 11:30 trade. I don't think so. Personally, I don't see it here. You can just tell that it's going to be a accumulation day the moment you see those tight ranges like that. And that's just based on studying of just what I'm trying to focus on is when are we going to have the consolidation days? When are we going to have the expansion days? The expansion days usually happen when the profile is nice. When the profile is nice and we have a clear model. What do we have here? Just an accumulation tight range day. Now I do have a clear model. I'm going from external to range. Assets are tapping into externals. I'm more so looking to trade internally or jack down from range high to range low. We can take notice that the daily's opening price does have a very open high type profile, as Asia does not have any lower day that's set with anything of true significancy. There is way too much expansion going on right now, tapping us into relevant levels, and I want to trade back down into the range to rebalance this expansion leg back downwards. With that being said, it kind of looks like there may be a okay, so there is a tap us in here, lows. Okay, cool. I want to trade down lower here. I do just need to see a swing formation get formulated. This would be like a swing formation, not the most ideal swing though. There is a SMT strength switch going on, as the stronger asset is now the weaker asset, and we can take notice that we are pushing us down to the downside. I'm still choosing to trade YM, as there is that 30-minute 15-minute C2, and we do have this push. I would want to wait to make sure that YM, the asset that's setting this manipulation, is reversing price. This is a no wick data candles low, so ideally I want to trade down to that no wick data candle low, and this would be your 10 a.m. open high low close. I'm going to trade YM as it is giving me that 10 a.m. open high low close and is reversing price, as it is also the asset that is setting that manipulation with that thing. And I can also take notice that I do have a lot more clearer of a stop loss placement, right? So, and that is revolved around a 15-minute swing formation, and we're also revolved around a 30-minute C3 as well. So with this all being said, I'm entering here, and my job is just to bring it down to this data's low, which doesn't have a low set. I'm gonna go for a little bit more, and my stop to break even can be that low because of its relevancy. Oh man, not a good reaction. Okay, stops now goes to break even. And then I'm going to hold to a 2R. Not good reactions, but nonetheless, it's still bearish, right? And then there would be your 2R play. Oh, that was a fucking difficult one. Shit. Oh. Okay. Where are we? Tuesday. Okay, it's the 15th. Go to next day's open. That was a difficult one. Oh fuck, I didn't read it. I didn't read it. My bad, guys. Fuck, I didn't actually break it down. Fuck, dude. All right, so taking a look here, we got that external, internal. Really is just external, internal. That's all it really was, right? And that data wick does not have a wick, and that's kind of why I wanted to go lower. With this being said, external, internal, we do want to go and trade lower. Asset does set this manipulation with these lows. As it was a lot weaker. There is a manipulation, but it's not really reversing price. It's more so just within this accumulation now. With the accumulation going on, we can see that there is a form of sweep and a strength switch. Daily candle does open up high, sets that London reversal, and now we are expanding lower to all of this low resistance lows that's located below us. With that being said, the daily profile has that 2 a.m. high a day, and we are already expanding away from it. I'd like to notice when we do impact this level here, because that is a very relevant level. YM also expanding lower as well from this internal type range, as it is reversing with that 2 a.m. C2. So let's see which asset is going to give it to us. And being that we are expanding, we do run into a relevant level right here. I would like to see a retracement first back up into the range in order to get on side with this, because I cannot trade at the lowest points of days here, right? We are expanded, and we expand into a very relevant level here on NQ. We do have that high a day. I just need to see a 15-minute swing formation. YM is making deep retracements right now. Not really the most ideal if I want to get on side with this. And I'm looking at this 10 a.m. candle now, trying to see if I can get on side with a move here. I'd like to see a 15-minute swing to formulate, so that way I can trade that 15-minute C3 into expansion downwards to those next draws on liquidity. There would be your 15-minute swing formation. I would actually enter just exactly like right here, because the 15-minute swing would have closed, and we would have closed with a very strong closure, and then a wick upwards with a very strong closure as well. It just has that next push over. So I'm pretty open to trying this and seeing if we get that continued expansion down to that next draw on liquidity, as this is a failure to manipulate signature, as those lows is failing to manipulate, and now we can trade that 15-minute C3 into that next draw on liquidity. Not the best reaction. Fuck, we're getting stopped. Yeah, we're getting stopped. Damn. Fucking ran short, dog. That's fucked. Oh, shit. We missed. I wanted to go break even as soon as you cross that low. Obviously not. But this was your model here, right? Your draw on liquidity, wanting to press into this one, and then that's your last relevant low. Obviously, we're just very low in the range, and then we get chopped up, right? Trying to go in short, very low in the range. I'm seeing a failure to manipulate structure with a 15-minute swing, where I'm trading the 15-minute C3 into that low, and that's just was the basic idea for this. And this is your next 15-minute swing if you really wanted to try it again. We just don't have a 3-minute CISD, as this is your 3-minute CISD to trade down to that exact same low and 2R that's located down here. I don't know if this type of play would play out, but this is like setting that high of that 1300 candle to those same lows. And then it just wouldn't play out, right? It's just an accumulation for the rest of the day. So we got chopped there, -1R, and that's fine. You know what I mean? That's okay. So let's go and see what we can do now. Taking a look here on the daily time frame. That's so unfortunate. Taking a look here, daily time frame, we are trading down lower. Very bearish day, trading into this daily gap. So there is reasonings for us to be bullish here if we wanted to be bullish. I don't think that we're wanting to be bullish, because we are failing to manipulate these lows with a very bearish daily candle. So with us being within a very bearish daily candle, it's a bearish expansion candle. Even if I wanted to be bullish here, I wouldn't, just because you don't want to trade higher within this type of expansion candle. The wick is way too large, bro. Way too fucking large. I'd much rather just close the day bearish. So I'm going to be looking for shorts as overnight expansion, though. 2 a.m. expansion. This could result in a New York consolidation. I'm more so looking for just the lowest point of the day to be impacted, and us bounce off of this 30-minute gaps and everything like that for us to go and continue back down lower to the lowest point of the day. And then it's just shorting back down to there, right? With seeing that we do have that 15-minute C2. Honestly, just anticipating now the 10 a.m. candle to just straight up expand with this V-shaped reversal off of that to expand back down to the lowest point of the day. And we are not really anticipating too much action from there, right? Very strong closures as well. This would be your 10 a.m. open high. Maybe possibly could have waited for the 10 a.m. open. Well, that's that for me. I'm got fucked up for the last fucking trades of the day. And that's fucked up there. Fuck. So unfortunate, bro. Fuck me, dude. Getting chopped up 5R in half a month. Just massive break even streak, just break even, and then just got chopped up on these last 2 days. Yeah, so 5R on the month currently. Gotta have better selection here. Just got fucking chopped up again. Fuck me. Overnight expansion equals what? New York fucked up day. That's all it is, right? We're not fucking overnight expansion that is expanding from the 2 o'clock candle from 2 a.m. in itself. We do the London and Asia expansion with this massive here. What is going to happen within the next day, within this day into a relevant level as well? What is going to happen? Ass price action. You know what I mean? You're going to fucking get chopped up. I mean, yeah, you could say external, internal, but I'm not trying to go and reverse the largest fucking expansion candle of all time. That's not exactly my forte, right? I don't like to go and reverse this largest expansion candle of all time. That's not my thing, personally, right? I'm not trying to create the longest fucking wick that anybody has ever seen in their entire life. Not really my thing. With that being said, market will do what market will do. Right, market will always do whatever the fuck it wants, right? And it does end up as a very valid reversal day, which is not I was not anticipating that, but probably could have, right? Probably could have here. Let's take notice of what did happen. 9:30 reversal, V-shaped reversal, opening up of gaps away from lowest points of the days. And then you have that 15-minute C2 pointing me in the upwards direction. From that 15-minute C2 pointing me in the upwards direction, V-shaped reversal, CISD up to the upside, and you could have longed this up to the upside. So that's just like what it is. Obviously, there is a model here to trade back up to here, but I just did not want to anticipate that, and that's just not my thing, right? I just wanted to trade back down to the lowest point of the day because I wanted to close the day as a bearish candle, not a fucking bullish candle. Chopped up on those last days. Obviously, should have maybe adjusted myself. External, internal model, and not being so locked up on, okay, we're just a bearish expansion candle, we should be closing bearish. No, probably should have went for the universal model on that last one. And yeah, that's basically that, bro. Fucked it up there. But other than that, I'm gonna call it a night and I'm gonna log off. But yeah. If you guys like this type of content, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next session. Peace.